The Sacred Garden, a guided meditation. So take a breath, put your feet on the floor, just to relax and join in a guided meditation. And imagine yourself walking along the path of a beautiful meadow. There's a light breeze, it's perfect temperature. Fluffy white clouds are blowing along the sky. Beautiful blue sky. The sun is shining just enough to warm you. Comfortable and relaxed. And you know that you're heading toward your sacred place. A beautiful garden where you can feel at peace, be totally safe and secure. When you reach the entrance to the garden, you find an oak tree, beautiful and old, with gnarled limbs and deep roots. And this is a worry tree, a place where you can put your to-do lists, your worries, your anxieties, that thing you just can't wait to tell someone because they said something to you and boy, I have a great answer. Maybe that could just go right on the tree limbs. Your phone, all of the things that keep you away from the present moment. And when you've placed all those things there, you can rest assured that you can pick them back up. So don't be afraid, you won't forget them. You can pick them back up when you come back to the tree when we're finished in the garden. But you may decide that some of those things might be better served by leaving them there, to allow the tree to reabsorb them into its branches, to be able to take it deep into itself, down into the roots, into the soil, to create that rich soil that will grow the future grasses and flowers. Now, your garden may be a dense forest, mysterious and beautiful, with many different types of trees. Maybe you hear the birds in the distance. The leaves rustle under your feet. Or maybe a lovely ocean, calm, the waves gently lapping upon the beach. You can put your toes in the foam and look off into the distance at the beautiful horizon, wondering what goes beyond and how deep does that ocean go. The beautiful reflection of the clear blue sky. Or maybe the desert. You roadrunner buzzes by, you feel the sand under your feet and hear the crunch as you walk along the path. The purple mountains in the distance. Or the mountains, deep and mysterious, stable and seemingly timeless. A place where you feel you can sit and time will stand still. And as you walk along, you find a bench. Now, it may be a comfy chair, your favorite recliner, lovely couch. You might even find that you're indoors looking out the window. But whatever works for you, whatever fits, is the perfect place. And there's room for two on the bench. And as you look down along the path, you see a spiritual guide, a spiritual teacher heading your way. It may be that you've been thinking about God and your connection to God and wondering more about the mysteries of the Word. A rabbi teaches that you are where your mind is. And as you think about the seemingly unspeakable name of Yahweh, you reflect on the mystery that if God is the breath and we are the breathers of God, and Yahweh is not as much a name that can't be spoken, but that must be breathed, so that each syllable is the inhalation and the exhalation, in and out. Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahweh. A deep connection with the vital breath. Or perhaps Jesus is there to guide you and to give you stability and strength with the amazing and wonderful scripture, "Be still and know that I am God." A beautiful invitation to be still, to listen, and to have that deep connection with the miraculous. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know. Be still. Be. Or perhaps Mohammed, peace be upon him, as you listen to the call of prayer, absorbed in the music, absorbed in the singing, and absorbed in the mystery of going deeply into an understanding of God. Or perhaps in the Hindu tradition, in looking at the many gods and goddesses and chanting that goes along with each of them, the connection in a household of chanting the name of Shiva, Om Namah Shivaya, Shiva Om Namah. And in darshan, in the rituals of the Hindu tradition, you not only look upon the gods, but they look upon you as well, to be seen by the gods. Or perhaps the Buddha is there to sit next to you with stability, to look at different gathas as you begin to meditate, as you begin to learn to listen to everything around you. Everything that you do becomes a meditation. Listen, listen. The sound of the bell brings me back to my true home. And in the garden of my heart, the flowers bloom peacefully. Or perhaps it's a friend, a mentor, a great teacher, someone who's gone before, a guide, spiritual or animal. But as our Sikh friends teach in their mantras, is that the point here, the way of being, is for deep listening. To listen to the silence, to allow our minds to settle. This is a safe place for our feelings. There are many feelings that we have that sometimes we get so busy we pass them right by. Or maybe we think that meditation or any of the kinds of spiritual teachings are ways for us to avoid our feelings, to pretend they're not there, to bypass them, to stuff them down. But in this space, we have perfect honesty with ourselves because we know that we're safe, we're secure. Our spiritual friend, our Anam Cara, can be there with us to support us. So even if that feeling is anger and we don't like to admit that we have that anger, maybe we feel that our identity is around being peaceful and kind and sweet and nice. But the reality is we find that we do have anger, that we're furious with the way politicians are handling a subject. Perhaps we're angry at situations that could have been prevented. And we feel not nice at all. We feel very salty about it all. And we want to lash out. But when we can sit silently and acknowledge and realize that we do have that anger, that we may feel that righteous indignation, may feel that that's actually very energizing. We may kind of secretly like that feeling. But when we sit with that feeling in stability, we realize there might be other layers. There might be more to it than just simply being angry. And maybe even proving to the world that we're angry at the right things and that we're on the side of good, the side of the angels. But sitting again and realizing that maybe I have some fixed ideas about the world and the way things are. Maybe I've closed my eyes to other things and find myself selectively angry and indignant. And when I can settle into those feelings and begin to look at perhaps all the different sides involved, my feelings may not be all sunshine and roses. The storm may continue, but as I notice, I can feel that the storm is still there, but perhaps it's more of it at a distance. There's a crackle of energy. But then there's also a possibility and potential for renewal. I may find myself going deep within myself and finding tears and grief, sadness. I'm pierced to the heart of the suffering of the world. Not only for other people, for myself. And I look out at other people, even just passing by when I look out my window and knowing that there's suffering in their lives. So many things that are happening that I wish that I could wave that magic wand and make it all better. But by allowing myself to feel that, to be pierced to the heart with the suffering of the world, I can connect to the world. There's no more separation between me and everyone else. The person who suffers is me. The person who suffers is no different than me. There's no barrier between us. I'm no longer the person who helps because I'm superior. I'm the person who helps because I can listen deeply, because I know the feeling. I'm there with them. And when I can come back to that calmness, that sense of suffering is part of life, I can realize that the tears that I shed yesterday have become rain. And even though I feel that piercing to the heart of the suffering of the world, I also see the rainbow. I also see the sunrise. Those two things happen at the same time. That beautiful tension between the opposites, that beautiful razor's edge, where if I balance steady and stable, is a beautiful place to live. And I can bring my joy to the sacred garden and secret place as well. And it's a wonderful way to practice, to bring my happiness, to bring my joy. And to bring my joy to the world as well. I think there's a movie line about my favorite emotion is laughter through tears. And I think that's really true. And then looking up in the night sky, oh, what a beautiful cosmos, the awe-inspiring nature. Just mind-bending to think of how many stars and galaxies. To look up into the night sky and see the planets and the stars, it's amazing, it's breathtaking. Wondering, how on earth could this be? I can't wrap my head around all of these things of galaxies far away. And yet, I know that I'm made of all of those things. We're made of stardust. We're filled with all of those things in the universe. So time becomes something that is infinite and also something that's very intimate. So as we touch something as small as the petal of a little flower and feel its softness and look at its beauty, think of all the wonders of the world, the beautiful landscapes of so many different countries, the forests of Myanmar, the temples of Cambodia, the oceans surrounding each continent, each one with a different character and beauty, caves and deserts, mountains and rolling hills. Beauty everywhere we look. The lovely petals of a chrysanthemum, counting them, looking at how each one spirals down into the next. Maybe we enjoy looking at the heritage blooms, perhaps that our grandmothers cultivated, hydrangeas and irises, thinking about those maybe antique flowers that we don't see very much anymore. The leathery leaves, the delicate shadings of the flowers, and the beautiful memories of the people that cultivated those and grew them. And the lovely scents. Think of all the beautiful herbs, lavender and basil, and rubbing your fingers on a tomato leaf and smelling your fingers, how lovely that smells. The freshness of the green, the tiny blossoms of the lavender. Breathing deeply, enjoying the scent. And the lovely color of a sage, cactus, looking at the different succulents, different types of plants that perhaps at first glance don't seem beautiful until we look at their symmetry and their structure, their delicate coloring, even their sharp little pointy leaves. And thinking about a lotus, which with no mud, no lotus, the roots of the lotus are deep into the mud, and without that mud, it can't bloom, it can't exist. And it's like us. We may feel stuck in the mud. We may feel like we're in the mud and can't get out. But when we can relax and breathe and allow the lotus to bloom, we'll find that we can indeed come up through the mud, still rooted in the ground, and yet turning our face to the sunshine. May all beings find peace and happiness.